Everybody, whether you're in Canada, United States, or anywhere around the world, my name is Stuart Brisgel, and I'm here for the Rant Network to talk about a Canadian election. My partner David Solomon's running a few seconds late to come on in as he is heavily involved in this election progress. But I got to tell you, does it make much sense? Who's going out to the polls? Who's actually going to vote? Voting for someone or not voting at all? By not voting, what does it actually do to you and the other party? And these are great questions. I mean, you gotta be honest. You know, some people say, what the hell? I'm not going to go and vote. Well, by not voting, you actually have cast a vote for the other party. Kind of crazy. If you think about it, if you didn't go to vote for the Liberal Party today or the Conservative Party today, then you actually did vote for the other party. Every vote counts. And it's very important to know that everything is important and everyone counts. David, thanks for joining in, talking about Canadian politics. And as I showed everyone, I'm wearing my Canadian D squared hat today in honor of another crazy election in the last year.
But Stuart, you know, it's the importance of voting. Even it's not just in Canada, but we just saw a gubernatorial recall election down in California with barely 55% of the people showing up to vote. You know, I just caught the last part of your sentence there, is that if you don't vote, you are letting others decide for you what's right. Now, others are going to say to you, my vote doesn't count. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Sorry, folks, it actually does matter, because if 1,000 of you decide that it doesn't matter, then 1,000 of you have let others decide for you. Correct. And so I have a real tough time for people telling me, I don't want to vote today. And Stuart, it's not just about conservative or liberal or NDP or what's going on here in Canada. People don't understand that unlike the United States, we don't vote for our prime minister here. We vote for our representative in our riding or in our area. You don't vote today for your prime minister. Yes, collectively, yes, you decides who's the government. Yep. But you know what? The question is, would you rather have a Republican or a Democrat? Is that what matters? Or the right person, whether it's in Washington or in Ottawa, representing the needs of your community in the most appropriate way?
You know, there's an election going on right now in your riding.
All over my country.
All over your country.
Yeah.
Do you know what the voter turnout is yet?
No, we won't know until tonight, but we've been somewhere around the 65, 70% range overall in Canada. But in my riding, it's even lower than that.
So it's kind of funny. We're having a runoff mayor election November 2nd in Sundials Beach, Florida. And the people running, I know Dana, who's running for the mayoral position. And I got to tell you, her biggest problem is people just not wanting to go and vote.
Well, you know what? But ask yourself the question, why? Okay, why is it always? I don't know. You know what it is? There's some very simple parts to it. First and foremost, people are generally misinformed. You know, yesterday I walked around with my candidate here in my riding, and we went to one door, and she says, "I won't vote for your party because you don't believe in abortion." And we sit there and we said, "Madame, that policy was changed. We understand that was the traditional stance of the party, but the party put out a message that it is understanding and has changed its platform." No, I don't believe it. Wow.
You know, when you find people are passionate about issues.
Yeah,
hang on a second. And you know, there are a number of people that were very passionate in the American election.
Sure.
Just like they're passionate in the Canadian election, especially when there's a separation vote. But to be brutally honest, it's ignorance. The media plays the top role on focusing on an issue.
No, not focusing, on misfocusing. an
Okay,
issue.
good. All right, I'll accept that terminology. They misfocus people and go like the game where you have find the queen. They put 3 cards down, find the queen, and they go shuffle, 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 shuffle. Where's the queen?
You're talking about 3-card Monty.
3-card Monty. Thank you. I call it find the queen, follow the queen, find the eggshell. There's different variations of the same game. And so what media does is disinformation.
Correct.
They find out and poll what gets people really, really angry.
Ooh.
And then
No, actually, they decide without even inquiring about the people. Stuart, I'm sorry, but if you look at any debate that went through the presidential election last fall, are you telling me that those were the most pressing policies or issues, or was it just the media saying, I'm going to lead this charge? Come on.
I don't disagree. You are not going to argue with me on this point. David, you are heavily involved on getting people out to vote. Mm-hmm. I think that is the most important aspect of this system. You believe in a system. I don't believe in the system because the system's broken. I believe in voting.
Broken? I believe in voting because I'll tell you something. There's no perfect system out there. Okay, I don't care what you say. There's no perfect system. There's no electoral system that's perfect. What I believe in, folks, is that, yes, your voice does matter. And I'm tired of people saying, you know what? None of these parties are great. Well, you know what? No one's perfect. There is no such a thing as the perfect leader. I know that we're enamored, not only in your country, but in my country, by aesthetics. President Obama, tall, strong, very handsome gentleman, spoke really well, galvanized people with his words that were written for him, but galvanized with his approach and the way he could speak with a speech. Our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, as some people like to call him, True Daddy, the kind of guy that he's tall, he's handsome, and people are enamored by that. But at the end of the day, do you think that their policies were the right ones? Do you believe that there was substance there? The answer to the question is it depends on what you believe in. Personally, neither of them, the president nor the prime minister, interested me. Frankly, I don't care for the way Donald Trump spoke either. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for the best available because the perfect person doesn't exist right now. There's no party that's going to cover 100% of your wishes.
But it never existed. It was a dream.
But we believe in it.
The difference is between 70 years ago in elections and today is there's something called social media, the internet. So everything travels at the speed of light and everything is a relative issue. And my point is that the elections haven't changed. It's just the able to manipulate them has only now been understood.
100%. Well, no, I think it's more enhanced. And I think that people, like I was listening to talk radio this morning, and what they were saying is people still don't know who they're going to vote for. Today's the election. We've had a 5-week campaign. Now, I know in the United States, it seems like an eternal campaign, but we had a 5-week campaign. And if you're telling me you still don't know who to vote for and you're not going to vote, or you're going to vote for some fringe party, then you know what? Shame on you. Okay, because the parties have their policies posted. My favorite example happened yesterday. A lady calls into a radio show and she says, you guys are wrong. What you just said about this particular party is wrong. That party never said that. And the host of the show, not the person they were interviewing, because they were interviewing a candidate, but the host of the show said, I'm sorry, ma'am, if you open up their document to page 14, it's written in bold. And so people are so not interested in the issues. They're not interested in finding out what parties are standing for. They're not interested. They love the headlines thrown at them by the media. And then they say, you know what? I'm either not going to vote, or you know what? I'm just going to vote because this is what I've historically done, or because my parents did it, or because of... Guys, no. Your vote does matter. Voting for a fringe party to say, I'm going to send a message to those big parties? No, that's not how it works here, because if the People's Party of Canada gets a certain percentage of your vote, not only do you split the vote, but they're back next election because you've just paid for their election.
Yep.
Okay, stop doing that, people. You need to know that your vote does matter, and that when you do vote, vote smart. Vote for the party that not a party, but issues. Vote for your representative. Okay, if you're not going to vote, you can't criticize later on the government, folks. We just went through a crappy 20 months of COVID. Okay. And you know what? You could say that the government handled it well, not well, this, that, and the next thing. But going forward with all this money we've printed and all these economic policies, where do you want it to be? Do you want your great grandchildren to still be paying for these fallacies?
This is, well, hang on a second. Hang on. So I'm going to stop you. That expression has been used for close to 250 years. Your children are going to pay for it. Hang on.
Right. Yeah.
Now, what I challenge people, and I enjoy doing this, do you know where your tax dollars go?
No, people don't.
Okay. Do you know when they say tax the rich, do you know what that means?
That's a rant for later this week. Let's move on to that. That's a rant for this week.
But you got an election going on.
Yeah.
And everyone typically goes to the party that says they're taxed too much. They don't tax enough. They don't tax the right people.
We want more money. We want more government programs. We want. And you know what? When a party makes a promise like that and says, don't worry, it's not my, and let me tell you something. I'm going to quote Mr. Trudeau, who said, I'm not paying attention to the monetary policy. Because when a prime minister says that he's not paying attention to monetary policy, it shows you where their mindset is. Listen, I'm just picking on him. I could tell you every leader in this campaign has put their foot so deep in their mouths that they're up to their hip with this stuff. So I'm not just criticizing Justin Trudeau. I'm not here to tell you to vote Liberal. I have my personal opinions, but I'm just saying that people love the headlines. People do not pay attention to the real matters. And as a result, when it comes out to voting, they're confused or they'll throw their vote away. We don't have that liberty, folks. When I hear
you do have that liberty. You do have that liberty. You just don't exercise that liberty.
But that's a good point. And when I hear people saying, our grandfathers fought on the beaches of Normandy and fought for our liberty to vote and this, that, you're 100% right. But that means nothing to this generation. What matters is that if you really do care about the environment, then which party has a plan? Which representative has come to you and asked for a plan? Even simpler than that. And Stuart, I don't know if it's like that by you, but do you actually know who represents you? Have you met that individual? Do you have their contact information? Do you know how to reach them in case there's a problem? Well, I'm going to tell you, in my writing, and I'm going to blatantly blast this person, is that the person in my writing has never appeared. He's hidden. He's disappeared. He's taken this whole area for granted and has disillusioned so many people because of that.
So let me ask you a question, David. Did you vote yet?
Oh yeah.
Is there work today, or is there?
No. Because the polls are open from 9:30 to 9:30 in this part. People have enough time to go and vote. There were 4 days of pre-voting. I pre-voted. I stand by my words. I voted. My family voted. All of us.
Yeah. I didn't vote. You didn't send me an absentee ballot. I would vote.
You don't live in Canada anymore. Too bad.
That's true. But I think you bet there's a lot of voters that came from South Florida.
But I'll tell you, folks, really what irritates me is the notion of I'll throw my vote away. I won't vote. I don't care.
It's a losing battle. They're stupid. They're stupid. And you know what? When they wake up and realize what they did, they'll be too late. What are we ranting about on Wednesday, David?
Listen, Stuart. Listen, folks, I'm going to tell you, this is a week where we're going to be talking about a couple of different subjects. And Stuart, you talked about tax the rich. Folks, I think that there's a mantra that comes out, especially in this election, where people talk about tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich. But really, what does that impact mean? And how much are the so-called top 1% really contributing to the economy? You'd be shocked that both Canada and the United States do not have the same percentage and do not have the same proportion. But interestingly enough, how much of an impact does the top 1% have on our population? Stuart, that's one topic. What's our other one?
I love talking about the squad. And when AOC shows up with a dress for 30 grand at a party that the guy that made the dress has been benefiting off of all the PP money. And you know what? He's in collection. Ah! Listen, they're such hypocrites, these left-wing progressives. Not for me, but for thee. These people are scumbags. You got to call them it. You got to call them to their face. They're liars. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, well, that we're going to talk about for sure on as you know this week. But folks, if you're here in Canada, I'm begging you, I'm imploring you, please go out and vote. Your vote does matter. If you want change, if you want the status quo, please go out and vote. Folks, love you. We're going to leave you. We're going to wish you all a great week. We look forward to seeing you Wednesday here on the Rant Network, as well as Friday here on the Rant Network.